Would you feel on the back plate, mate?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's up behind here. In there. But obviously on the normal one, you've only got one link on there and one link on there. Because there was all bent, I just tried to use this V8 one, but it's got this crisscross, but we don't need the crisscross because normally we've only got the link. You know what I'm saying? And it's still got one that goes over the top. So I'm just going to cut this bit out so we can get it out, unwind it.
Put a bar in there first, just try to leave that boot up a little bit.
Yeah, but it's still, it's in front of the thing there.
Yeah, that's what
Move the floor as much as I still can't get it out.
Yeah, but while that bar's there, just put that up and cut the bar out, you have a bit more room in there.
Move the floor.
Just, yeah.
That was very, very wise wisdom.
Thank you.
Can you tell me about experience, mate?
You can't buy it. You might want to put a tune or something to make this.
What we're doing is this was the jag that we used, or I used at Mildnall for the Supreme Championship, and I dust capped myself bad on a dead car that I didn't see something in the strike. Caught it through the wheel, and I've sort of snapped jag in the middle a little bit through the tunnel. So we're going to try and stretch it and see if we can stretch it enough for Northampton on Easter Sunday, which is another shale track. You can get away with a bent car a little bit more at shale track, so we're going to give that a go. But when we came back from Mildnall, there was diff oil everywhere and it stinks. If you've ever smelt gear oil, like when they invent smell-o-vision, you'll know, but it is the worst smelling oil in the world ever, I think. And it's everywhere in the workshop because the diff's been leaking for 3 weeks.
See how fun there, mate.
What have you done, mate?
Now we've got this out.
You're quite useful sometimes, you know?
Thank you.
Bit of Wayne wisdom. What have we done then, Wayne?
Well, we've just refilled the diff with oil.
Yeah.
Cleaned it all up and just going to have a quick cup of tea and see if we've got any leaks.
Gassed out the bar that was blocking up the filler hole.
Yep.
Normally on the axle wheel, it's normally just got a link arm that goes from there up to there and there over to there. On the V8 one, it has this crisscross bar at the back, which is what was blocking the filler thingy. So that's why we've just lopped it off out of the way. We don't need that bit, a little bit of weight reduction. So yeah, we had a diff leak for the last 3 weeks on the workshop floor, and Squirrel found out that it was just a loose bung. Hopefully, we'll have a cup of tea, see if it's still leaking. It'll save us a massive job if that's fixed it, because they are not the nicest things to get the casing off the back. All right, Wayne?
Job's a good one by the looks of it. We'll see.
Right, so this is the engine that we're chucking in this Jag. 2 litre, completely standard, but obviously it's had the sump and the front plate and everything else put on by our very own Wayne. Wayne Speed, what do you think about the 2 litre, mate?
Lovely.
Yeah, nice engine.
Not seen plenty of power, plenty of power for show.
Yeah, get the job done.
And it never costs £4 grand.
And it didn't cost £4 grand, right? So we're putting this gearbox on these Mazda gearboxes that everyone uses. I use the cable version, and the adapter plate normally has a pickup for the cable there with a forward cable on it, but this one doesn't. So we were looking for a little bit of tube to put the clutch cable through. There's about 3 inches long. And what did we find, Ty? 19mm deep socket.
Yeah, it is a
nice. Ty's working the hot glue gun. There we go. 2 litre, about to go in for some shell shifting. Are you ready?
For what?
Engineage. Go now! She's dropped straight in the bent car, and we didn't even have to use a hitting stick.
I look for one. I realised I tied it up.
Yeah. It's fine.
We actually lined up properly.
It's still a bit bent though, because the gear stick's over by the seat. But
Yeah, we need to come over this way. But, that's not nice.
that's fine.
And I'll tell you a nice little joke.
It's going to take a while.
Farmer goes off to an auction, comes back with a zebra. So he lets the zebra have a wander around the farm.
Yeah.
And he comes across some chickens. So he says to the chickens, what do you call them? What do you do? They said, oh, we're called chickens and we lay eggs for the farmer's breakfast. Yeah. All right, he said that. So he carries on working around, comes across the cow. So he says to the cow, what do you call them? What do you do? The cow said, well, the farmer milks us, gets his milk for his breakfast in the morning. All right. Carries on. Comes across some sheep. So he said, sheep, what do you call them? What do you do? That's what we call sheep. And when our wool grows, the farmer shears us and sends off and has some jumpers and that made. All right, he went. You know, he went round the corner out in this field, this big old stallion horse. So he said to this stallion horse, she said, what do you call them? What do you do? The old stallion said, take the pyjamas off and I'll show you.
Am I the only one that found that funny?
Yeah. Yeah.
This way, Shrill's still trying to click on me. Horse, pyjamas.
Remember yesterday we were playing about with the differential. The bar that went across and we couldn't get to the bung. Squirrel thought that the drain bung underneath was loose. So he's took that out, we've put some more gear oil in it. We've put it down on the floor. We've pulled the car out where the front had a bend in it. And it's sat overnight. And this morning it's been chilling out as well. It's not quite fixed. I mean, we've got a big stinky diff oil patch there. And like I said yesterday, there is no worse smell in the world than diff oil. So that's great. Can't wait for the dog to walk through it and then take it home and put it on the cream carpet. That's going to be really great. That, in these Jags, is a nightmare to get out. It's leaking from this casing for whatever reason. The seal's gone on it. And that is not a 5-minute job to get that out. That is axle out. And then all these other bits and bobs all bolt to it. So I'm going to have to spend half a day stripping it down. That is not good for now. So we're going to do the right thing and pretend we didn't see it. And just keep topping up the oil. How are we doing? It's Thursday, Good Friday tomorrow, and obviously we're racing Easter Sunday in the Jag, so we really need to pull our finger out and get sorted now. Didn't get to film much yesterday. Yesterday was really busy with work, which obviously we're not going to grumble about, because that is obviously the most important thing. and we want to start filming some of the work stuff in the workshop, but that's just going to take a few more bits and bobs I need to sort out to get on with that. Obviously then we can show a little bit more of what we do in the workshop or in the garage, or garage if you're American. Got a lorry outside that needs some bits doing to it. So yeah, in the next episode or 2 or 3 or whatever, we'll show some other bits other than the racing, and we'll go from there. As for today, obviously, as per last week's conversation, I'd like to try and get loaded up by the end of the week, just to have the time with the kids and the family and the missus and everything at home. So I know we've got some bits to do tomorrow and Saturday, and then obviously racing Sunday. So I need to pull my finger out. We've put the old Go-Go juice eater, or also known as a carburettor, on the engine, as you've just seen, before it went in. But that came off of the V6 engine that we put upstairs on the mezzanine floor in the time lapse on last week's video. So that's done a head gasket, and that's a problem for another day. That engine, that needs a rebuild, but we've nicked the carburettor off of it to put on this car, changed some jets. Squirrel rebuilt it on the bench on Monday, out of shot, and just sort of changed the jets, give it a clean. So that should hopefully be good. Because the carburettor's come off of a different engine and it had a different throttle cable, the bracket's different for where the cable goes on. So we're just going to quickly make one up. I haven't got one to hand to throw on it, so we're just going to quickly make one. It's a pretty simple job. And then once that's done, we can get that sorted, get the electric sorted, and hopefully bark it up and make sure she's all right. Right, here's literally a bit of offcut I found on the floor, which is just like made for it. I mean, I don't like throwing things away, so it's just nice when you have like the perfect offcut that just happens to be like on the floor, you know? It's totally not straight, so that's great. Let's just cut it out and see what happens. Batteries are perfect, that's really cool. Don't put that one on charge. Great. Try again, shall we? And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, why are you using the grinder with the flat battery on the cordless when the electric one is right here? It's because I'm too lazy to put a disc on that now. That's why. So my theory is that'll sit over there like that, right? I'm going to trim that down there like that. That cable, and I'll just put a fork on it, push the cable on. Dwin, 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 and off we go. Wayne, I've got a question, and it is personal. Is that all right? Or can I come to you with personal questions?
Feel free, Pete. I'm here.
Okay.
I will give you my years of
Well,
knowledge.
I was a bit cold today, so I put my overalls on that I haven't worn for quite some time.
And they're a bit tight.
Am I getting fat?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. That is why we now call you Podger and not Bodger. You are getting a bit podgy. But listen. You've got to sacrifice something, mate. You've picked up smoking, which is a very good thing. But now you're going to.
But now I'm eating.
But now you're going up the size of me.
Now I am eating.
So it's either the fags are going to kill you, or being obese is going to kill you.
Well.
And do you know what's really worrying me?
Well, you smoke.
I'm going to pack up smoking very soon, and I could end up being 40 stone.
You could end up being 40 stone.
Well, imagine that.
Well, then you've only got to put a stone on, haven't you? Because you're already 39.
That was a bit nasty, mate.
You called me Podger.
No, but listen, you asked me for advice and help.
I did.
And you've told me that I'm 39 stone. Do you realise how big 39 stone is? Because I ain't nowhere near 39 stone, and I'm big.
What, you're 38?
I could be bedridden.
What? What, 39 stone?
Well, how am I going to get out of bed? I've got a job to get out of bed now. What about? Well, I thought you wanted...
Oh, hang on a minute. I could be really clever here.
There ain't no chance of you being clever. Don't even try to be clever. Don't even try to be clever.
Let me just cut it.
Yeah, but your cable is straight there, Pete.
Let me just cut the thing.
No, you don't. Listen, measure twice, cut once. That's what all carpenters do.
I'm not a carpenter.
No, and this is not wood. Same thing. We need to do the job properly. Mark it along here.
Yeah.
Cut this corner out.
All right.
Like, that's it.
Oh, hang on. I've got.
Oh, you're thinking about bending that
Oh
down?
no! What about if we cut it there?
Yeah.
Yeah. We fold it along there, and then I cut this bit out like this, and that's your fork. And where it's cut there, we can just go bend it down.
Perfect.
We've got a little bracket underneath, and so we're making the fork and the bracket out of one bit of metal, and everyone can ignore the fact that I drilled the hole in the wrong place.
Exactly.
And everyone's going to go, "Oh, that's really cool. Where did you get that?"
This is.
I'd give 20 quid for that. And
This
I'd say,
is
I can
where
make them, mate.
experience comes in, Pete. See?
I'm learning it.
I've taught you how to measure twice, cut once.
Has anyone else had like a cold for like since 1927 or something? I just feel like the whole of 2024 so far, I've probably had like 3 days where I can breathe. It's not even like a proper cold. It's just like blockage, like Dartford Crossing at 5 o'clock on a Friday, all the time in both nostrils. I mean, I'm like double timing nasal spray so that I can try and talk on the camera without like imploding or doing a head gasket. But anyway, we're like the mock-up of this upside downy bracketry thing is nearly done. I'm just going to weld a little tab in here because where that sits on the carburettor or the fuel juice eater or the gas guzzler or the petrol injection, the petrol chucker-innerer, the petrol, the juice goer, the jug, the innards, you know, the petrol comes and goes in, petrol ins there. Anyway, so we're going to weld this up in the vise is what we're saying. Just got to put a stability, you know, we've just got to like, that's going to sit there like this. And the throttle cable goes down, and if I like really stamp on it, she's going to go. So we need some stability in here. Didn't even check what setting the welder was on, so that's pretty cool, but it seems alright. Seems like it's on 90mm socket clutch cable bracket setting. Or if you're from the Americans, it's a 3/4 inch socket. Take the globe off. The old globe cable. Now it's no like, you wouldn't go and order it online and be happy with it is what I'm saying. But it's like, it does the job. She's had the triangle filled in and that can't like get the bend on. She's getting fitted. Oh, let's cool it down first because that's melting my skin. Okay, so as I touched on last week, we don't run a radiator in the bangers, obviously in the front because we'll break it by crashing or whatever. So we run this big water tank. Holds about 20 to 40 litres of water-ish, give or take, depending on what car it's in. So I'm just going to chuck some water in it before we run it up because we don't want to run it up with no water in it. We don't want the water pump to run dry. So I'm just going to have a suck on this big black hose. Yeah. Okay. No pun intended. And while that's filling up, there's a few people commented on the video from last week asking a bit more description about what things are and what things do. So obviously, like I say, the water tank is there because of no radiator, but we're quite limited on the rules of how big it can be so that it's there to be for cooling purposes and not for strengthening purposes. So as I said last week, we've just had a new rule come in where we've had to skim the bottom of the water tanks off so that there's a 30mm gap between the chassis leg and the water tank, and that's because people were interlocking it and obviously reinforcing the chassis leg with the water tank. It can only be so big, it can't go past the front of the head of the engine. That's not the engine guard, that's the head of the engine. And it can't come back down the other side of the engine. So there's quite a few rules on how that can be and where it can go. With the engine guard, we're allowed a full silhouette of the engine. The plate right at the bottom is where the front of the crank pulley would be. So that's capped off and seals up against the sump, which is the bottom part of the engine. And this bit just protects the two cams in the top of the engine and this aluminium sort of rocker cover casing. The engine itself is not a Jaguar like the car. That's a Ford 4-cylinder engine that everyone uses. They came in like the old Ford Galaxies and the Frog Eye Scorpios and some petrol transits, like Mark 6 Transit had them in as well. They just had a different looking oil filler cap thing come out the front. And obviously originally they were fuel injection rather than carburettor. So the manifolds are aftermarket. We buy them for racing to bolt the old 3-litre style Weber carburettor on, the twin choke one. Other than that, that's pretty much it on the front. Right, that's a tank full of water, about 50 litres it took. Some people call it a water tank, some people call it a steam box, some people call it, I don't know, but it holds water and it's a box. So it's best of both ones, I suppose. That's done. The Go-Go Juice Make It Happen thing over here is working. That's done, and the bracket that we made earlier is good. The pedal works well, the cable is not stretching, that's got a spring on it, that is done. The electrical wires of doom are done, although one of them you can pretty much play a song on it, but we'll just pretend that we didn't see that. So that's fine. Where did the top of the dipstick go? I don't know. We haven't checked the oil, so that's fine. And I've got to tidy up, oh no, I've got to do that. Tidy up a bit of loom in there. Other than that though, I think we're pretty much ready to bark off. So let's just see what happens. Water pump's picking up water, that's good. Now here is what I've just found under the bench. I don't know if you can see this, but it's definitely, oh dear. It's definitely gear oil. It smells like wet plasters and verrucas mixed with like that mouldy food that you're not sure what it is at the back of your nan's cupboard. Like, it's out there. So that's been there for quite some time, but I've run out of gear oil, so we're just gonna drop that in there and just hope it's good. Probably fill up with lots of minerals and lubricating, particulates and whatever else is needed for that gearbox. So, oh my goodness, look at that. That's some stringy stuff in there. Maybe we won't put that bit in. So that's had about, I don't know. Oh, what's that? There's some blue paint off of the Rolls Royce. So that's been there since January at least. There's lots of bits in there. That's fine. That's had maybe a litre or two. Just hope that that's going to be fine. That's cross-threaded. That's perfect. Where does that come from? Okay, that is another thing off the list. This is where we're at with the car so far. It's almost home time because I've got to go and pick Little up from nursery and stuff, but I'll be back down here tonight. These two bits need to come off this car, which is here, and they're up in there. Shiny air filter up there is coming out, so I have to take the bonnet off and get them out. Charge the battery. I'll put that on before I shoot off in a minute. Throttle cable bracket we've done. Away. And it's just a case of the normal stuff of loading up, getting the tools and the spares and everything else ready.
I'll check in a minute and
go
see if
from
I've got
there.
to make any up tonight. I think I do, because when I was at Mildenhall last, I popped a couple of the shell tyres. Crushed tubes are in the car, that's not a problem.
Right, that is a wrap for episode 3. There's not much else I can show you that we haven't already seen. The only thing I've got left to do tonight is to make a couple of spare wheels and load up sort of spares, the tools, everything else like that, get the lorry ready. So you saw that last week on a time lapse, so I'm not going to bore you with all that stuff again. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've had a laugh again, another week of messing about and sort of just doing what we do and televising it to you. I mean, we're just idiots, really. Hope you liked it. If you did, then please like, share, subscribe, drop a comment down below. The same old thing, really. It really helps us out. It helps me to know what you want to see, and it shows we're doing the right thing. So, yeah, just if you like it, keep watching, share, subscribe, and everything else, and we'll catch you in the next one.